most amazing artist. I hope you are having a wonderful day today. Welcome to week 2 of our Paul Klee Cityscapes. During week 1, we printed using lines. We used a bunch of different lines. I see some vertical lines. Those are lines that go straight up and down. I see horizontal lines. Those are lines that go from side to side. And I see lots of diagonal lines. Those are lines that are at an angle. While we were printing all these beautiful lines, we were creating geometric shapes. A geometric shape is a shape that has a name like triangle or rectangle or square. A geometric shape is also symmetrical. That means if you cut it down the middle, then it will be the same on both sides. As we were creating this, we were building our cityscape. A cityscape is a picture or a painting or a drawing of a city. In my case, I have 1, 2, 3 buildings in my cityscape, but maybe you have some more buildings in yours. I'm super excited for week 2 because we are going to get to add color to this. Paul Klee used lots of different bright colors in his artwork, so we need to add some colors to ours. For me today, I'm going to be using tempera paint. Tempera paint is a washable paint, and I just have it in this little ice cube tray. If you're in my face-to-face classes, this is what you will be using today. So I just gently opened the lid off. I want to be super gentle because if this starts to tip over, then all that paint is going to fall out. So I need to be super duper careful with my paint tray. I also have something to clean my paintbrush with in between getting new colors. I just have a little tin here with a water cup and dirty old SpongeBob. I want to keep these two things inside of this metal tin because if my water was to accidentally spill, at least if it's in this metal tin, it will spill inside of the tin. If this water cup is out of the metal tin and it spills, where is it going to go? It's going to go all over my artwork. Okay, so that's why we keep it in this little metal tin. And we don't want to touch dirty old SpongeBob either because, you know, he's very, very dirty. And we're going to use that to clean our paintbrush. If you notice, my paper is pretty small. It's about the size of my hand. So I am going to have to use a teeny tiny little paintbrush to paint inside of all these small spaces. You have bigger spaces on yours, then maybe you could go a size up on your paintbrush. And if you don't have paint at all, then you can just use crayons to color all your shapes. You could use markers to color all your shapes. You can get super creative with what materials you would like to use to add color to your artwork. And since I am going to be using paint today, I of course have a messy mat under my work so I don't get any paint on my table. And that's everything you're going to need today, so let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to choose a color that I want to start with. And if you're painting and you have long sleeves on like I do, then you might want to roll your sleeves up so then you don't get paint all over your clothes. And I'm going to choose a color. I'm going to start with this color right here. And I'm basically just going to start painting inside each of these shapes. And we have to take our time while we do this because we want it to be nice and neat. We want to try to stay inside the lines as best as we can. When we try to make our artwork nice and neat, that means we're using good craftsmanship. We always want to have good craftsmanship while we create artwork because if we don't, then our art is going to look very messy and it's going to look like we didn't really care too much. So the more time that you take and really go slow if you need to get inside those lines, the better your craftsmanship will be. And craftsmanship is a great skill to practice while you're creating artwork. Okay, so I just finished my very first shape down here and I tried my best to stay inside the lines and I got outside of the lines a little bit, and that's okay because I know that I'm human and I'm gonna make mistakes. I can't be perfect all the time. So if you make a mistake, try to remember that as well and try to have a positive attitude towards any mistake that might happen. But I'm ready to get a new color now, so I'm gonna bring over my water and dirty old SpongeBob, and I am going to take my paintbrush and I'm gonna draw an X in the bottom of my water cup. Drawing an X in the bottom of your water cup is great because it loosens up any dried paint that's on your paintbrush, and it also helps you from squishing your paintbrush. So if you're going like this, you might accidentally be squishing the tippy toes of your paintbrush, and we never ever want to do that. Remember, our paintbrush is like a ballerina. She likes to dance across her paper on her tippy toes just like a real ballerina would dance on a stage. So remember that while you are cleaning. So I'm just gently drawing an X on the bottom of the water cup, and then I'm going to draw an X on Dirty Old SpongeBob, and Dirty Old SpongeBob helps get any of the extra paint off. And now my paintbrush is beautiful, it's nice and clean, so I can move on to my next color. And I think I'll choose blue-green for my next color. And I'll just do the next shape over. Again, I'm gonna take my time. Usually when I'm painting things like this, I like to paint on the inside edge first. So I like to go around inside of the shape first, like this. And once I have outlined the inside of my shape, then it makes it a lot easier to fill it in. And I'm ready for a new color, so I'm going to take my paintbrush, draw an X gently on the bottom of my water cup, and then I'm going to draw an X on Dirty Old SpongeBob. And then once my paintbrush is beautiful, nice and clean, I can move on to my next color. I just finished my orange triangle down here, and again I'm ready to change my color, so I'm gonna draw an X on the bottom of my water cup, and then I'm gonna draw an X on Dirty Old SpongeBob. And I want to tell you guys why we always clean our paintbrush before getting a new color. In our paint tray, we want these colors to stay nice and clean. Now, someone that has used this paint palette before me has gotten other colors in with each other, and we don't want to mix our colors inside of this paint palette. If we were mixing colors, we would want to mix our colors onto our paper, but we are not going to mix inside of this paint palette. So I think this one right here, this blue, I think I see some pink inside of it. That means, and that shows Miss M, that this artist, whoever had this paint palette before me, did not clean their paintbrush well enough. So please make sure before you get any new colors, you're always checking to make sure there's no other color on your paintbrush. Okay, so to finish this off, I'm basically just going to sit here and I'm going to color or paint each of these little sections inside of my buildings. And I'm going to try to space out my colors. So what I mean by that is, let's say down here, I have pink, I have blue, and I have orange. Right here on this shape, I don't want to use pink or orange because those are the same colors as these two shapes. And we want to spread our colors out. We don't want to have two pinks next to each other or two oranges next to each other. So try to be mindful of that while you are painting or coloring your buildings today. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and finish painting my cityscape, and then I'll be right back to show you what it looks like. Adding all the color to all my beautiful shapes, and I think it looks awesome. You can really tell that I took my time and really thought about where I was placing each color. I'm gonna double check and just use my eyes and go up and down each building to make sure I didn't miss any shapes, and I think I got all of them, and it looks like I've used every single color that's in my paint palette. The only color I chose not to use was black, because we used black to make the lines for our building and the shapes and stuff, so we don't want to use black to fill in or color our shapes because we already have black in our picture, so we want to add other colors. And that is it for week 2 of our Paul Klee Cityscapes. I hope you guys have a lot of fun painting or coloring each of your shapes. I can't wait to see how they turn out. I know they're going to be amazing because you guys are amazing. All right, I'll see you guys next time. Bye guys.